So what and new discoveries are being made, right? Like in Egypt?
Yeah, there was a new discovery that broke. And so, for those who haven't heard, a new corridor measuring like 30 feet long was discovered inside the Great Pyramid of Giza. And the officials there with the Antiquities Department announced this. It was on March 2nd, actually. And this corridor is located behind what they call the chevrons on the north face of the Great Pyramid. And so when I say chevrons, what I mean are, if you look at the north face of the Great Pyramid, in the center middle are these massive, huge gabled limestone beams that extend kind of upward vertically or triangularly. And this is considered by many, and I believe this is true, to be the original entrance of the Great Pyramid.
Oh, wow.
Right. The entrance that we go in, or you're allowed to go in today, is not, it's basically below and to the right of this original entrance. And it's just a hole that was blown in there in the ninth century. And so,
Because they couldn't find the real entrance, so they just had to make one.
right. Or because they just couldn't get in, it's so
Right.
impenetrable. And so, yeah, what you walk through now is just literally a blown through tunnel. And you can see it's just real archaic, and you can see that explosives were used of some sort. But yeah, this original entrance is massive, and again, you see these gables that stick up and dwarf all the other blocks on the outside of that north face. And so the crazy part is, I think that it's called the Scan Pyramids Project. This is a group of scientists that have been, man, the last handful of years looking for voids within the pyramid. These are the guys, I think, in 2017 who found that other void that we've been hearing about the last few years. So they found this using basically high frequency ground penetrating radar, which revealed this opening behind these so-called chevrons. They put this super like a 5 millimeter thick, real small endoscope through the joints. But yeah, it shows inside this 30-foot corridor. And it's the coolest thing about it to me is it's got the triangular gabled ceiling inside, which looks just like the inside of some other chambers in the pyramid, like the so-called Queen's Chamber. Again, it's all megalithic engineering with these massive, what I call megaton blocks. And
Mm-hmm.
so pretty exciting discovery. But the cynical part of me, it goes, man, this is what they're letting us know about. What have they really found, right?
Yeah, exactly. Like, well, I mean, it's just crazy to discover something like this on the pyramid. It's like, so it was behind what they thought was just the face of the pyramid, right? And they discover it with this frequency sonar type stuff, right? And stick a little
Exactly.
camera and see what it is, and they are able to excavate it and open it up, and then it's wild, like to know that there's discovering new stuff still. But I'm with you. Like, what is this really for? Or like, how long have they known about this? Or what don't we know?
Yeah, I mean, this is what they're letting us know publicly. There's actually been some other great discoveries in the Great Pyramid. I'll just reference one or two of them. There's a guy named Robert Edward Grant, who's a mathematician, basically a polymath. He's into all kinds of different subjects, but he's been going to the Great Pyramid for years. In 2018, he basically discovered in the what we consider the Holy of Holies inside the Great Pyramid, the King's Chamber. That's what they call it, although no original king mummy was ever discovered in there. I think we discussed that on the last episode.
Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah. These weren't really tombs.
right inside the king's chamber is what they call the sarcophagus. Well, I don't believe it was a sarcophagus at all. It was likely some kind of box that housed an energy device.
Yep.
Well, on the back side of this, Robert Edward Grant discovered two symbols that nobody had apparently ever seen before that we have recorded, uh, an alpha and an omega symbol. And you have to have kind of a special red light to
Wow.
see it. But once you see it, it's there. He believes these are actually much older. These are the signature of the original architects, because
Wow.
he's now found them like on the giant boxes in the Serapeum. He's found them on all these megalithic pieces. He's found them. And he believes, again, these are symbols of the original, if you want to call it alphabet or writing
Yeah.
system of these builders. So to me, this was just crazy. I did an interview with him and got to see the video footage. And then another thing, he really has researched the life of Leonardo da Vinci, the great artist we all know about. Well,
Mhm.
it's interesting to note that Da Vinci basically, if you study history, he disappears from Italy for like 3 years. Nobody knows where he went. He disappeared from public view. I think it was 1482 to 1486.
Wow. I
Um,
didn't know that. That's
right.
crazy.
But if in reading some of his letters and chronicles, he basically cryptically chronicles that he went to Egypt, and we know this by a letter he wrote to a sultan in Cairo, a powerful guy that was probably funding his trip. And so it's likely that Da Vinci had a map. He's exploring inside the Great Pyramid, and I'm saying all this to set up that he encoded, according to Robert Edward Grant and a lot of other great researchers that have studied this more in depth, he encoded all these pyramid codes into his major art pieces.
Wow.
And so that sounds crazy,
Wow. No, that makes sense.
right? And so
Yeah.
his first major painting, I believe, after his secret visit to the Great Pyramids, was the Vitruvian Man painting that shows the guy with like 4 arms and 6 legs. It's like he's moving.
Oh, wow.
when you
Wow.
when you place the Great Pyramid over this painting in the right proportion, the crazy thing is the horizontal lines that Da Vinci has on this guy's body all perfectly align with the chambers inside the Great Pyramid.
Wow. To Orion too, to the belt of Orion, like the Orion lines and the pyramids are set up, right? They
Right.
lead to the stars.
And the air shafts, if you saw like a 3D map or a graphic of the inside of the Great Pyramid, you see there's these vertical shafts that go up, giving it, like airflow. And those even align to how his arms extend to his shoulders. So, and then the other one I'll mention is probably his most famous painting, The Last Supper, right?
Oh, right. Yeah.
Well, it's crazy. Okay, again, picture Da Vinci in the Great Pyramid. He probably spent days, if not weeks, months, maybe sleeping in here, living in here, mapping this thing. Again, if you put the blueprint basically of the king's chamber over the Last Supper painting, the room perfectly aligns.
What?
Yeah, and
That's
you can,
amazing. I had no idea.
right. And it's
Wow.
crazy to think about. And again, this is Da Vinci in the 1400s, but still to me, that's a pretty cool discovering a sense in a different
Yeah.
way of somebody who was there in the 1400s and was so blown away by the stuff. He encoded it in what appears to be some of his greatest paintings.
Yeah.